We're based out of Baldwin, Wisconsin. So, a little background on me, I guess I could tell you. I've been in the industry for darn near 20 years. You know, the funny thing about me is my mom's side of the family was a contractor, and my dad's side of the family was a contractor growing up. So it's kind of some fun conversations in the kitchen when you're growing up. But I was kind of born and bred to do this kind of work. So, you know, when I was 16, I was out in the field putting in siding, cleaning up after guys, cutting wood, doing all kinds of different things. Went to college for a few years and still came back and love construction. So, you know, started getting into, ran my own siding crew, ran a window crew, I built houses. I've done a lot of different things out there, so I got some great background on it. Maybe 10 years ago, I got into the sales part of it, so I got to get to see every aspect of the business, starting from, you know, the installer all the way up into the management. And it's been a fun journey, and I like where I'm at right now. I do kind of miss putting my tool belt on and getting out and putting the doors and windows in and putting siding on, but now I get to deal with lovely customers and homeowners like you guys, like yourselves, and that makes everything worthwhile. I like to make people happy. So I'll get a little bit more into about our company here, and bear with me. I hope you all can see it. Like I said, can y'all see that? Okay, move that chair. We are Lindus Construction. We call ourselves the one-call-one contractor. You know, we do everything out there. We do siding, windows, doors, decks, roofs. We build some additions, we build some new houses, so we do quite a bit of that. Insulation, home performance testing, so we kind of take the whole house as a whole and try to make it all better. So got about 120 employees out of our Baldwin office, so we're not too big, we're not too small. We're one of the bigger contractors out there, but you know, we're family based, and I'll kind of get into that here right now. Kevin and Emily started the business out of basically the closet of their own house, and they had the three boys, and you got Andy, which is our CEO of our company, you got Adam, which is our production manager, and you got Alex, which is our vice president of sales. The three boys actually just bought the business from their parents, so it's a second generation construction company as well. So Kevin and Emily, like I said, started it with 8 employees. Built it all the way up to, you know, roughly 90 some employees, and then as the boys started getting into management, we just keep growing and growing and keep doing better things. So family-based company, which is pretty awesome. You might have heard our radio show on WCCO every Saturday morning, which is pretty neat little Q&A we have. Actually, the #1 radio show in its time slot, which is pretty good. Denny Long has been on the air for over 40 years. He's kind of the expert in the radio industry. And we paired together, and Andy and him do great. I've been on there a few times. We have a few guest spots here and there that come in and specialize in decks or windows or home performance tests or whatever it might be. But you know, WCCO recognizes us as a local expert. We are also recognized nationally on a national level. In 2012, we were actually the Remodeler of the Year, which was done by Remodeling Magazine. Okay, pretty big accolade. You know, out of thousands and tens of thousands of contractors, we rated #1 in the nation. It's a pretty big deal. It's kind of like winning the Super Bowl, the World Series of contracting. So we're really proud of that. Angie's List Super Service Award. You guys are familiar with Angie's List, correct? So consumer based, they can call on and give them a bunch of different things. Had their Super Service Award since Angie started doing her thing. Guildmaster, we have the Guildmaster Award, and what that is Guild Quality. It's a third-party survey. We do that with most of our jobs, is we actually survey them from a third party. It's called Guild Quality. We get their Guildmaster Award, and this basically what they say is 95% of the people out there would recommend us to friends and family. So do a great enough job that people tell their neighbors, tell that, and tell their kids, tell their parents. So #1 on referrals, which is pretty great, which leads us to over 75,000 happy customers out there. All the little dots represent some of the work we've done. So, you know, in the metro area, we do about 95% of our work. So you can see the black dots and the blue dots here are pretty full of the area. So there's a lot of people in your area that have our windows and doors and our siding or whatever product that we will do. Proud members of the National Builders Association, BATSI, which is Twin Cities Builders Association, St. Croix Valley. Kevin is actually the past president. Alex sits on the board of the St. Croix Valley. I'm on the BATSI board, or not the board, but I go to all the meetings. You know, everything with the Builders Association, they basically, you know, try to keep contractors to a higher quality of ethics, right? So we want to, you know, there's basic minimum codes and, you know, minimum codes are minimum codes. You want to get up and above the minimum, you know, so that's what these guys do. They hold you to that higher standard of ethics to make sure you're doing a great job, not just the minimum code stuff. Better Business Bureau, I'm sure you've all heard of the Better Business Bureau, correct? You know, they've been around for a long time. With that, we have an A+ rating on the BBB. You know, doing this, you know, you can't have 75,000 customers without having a complaint here and there, but any complaint that we've ever had is satisfactory, complete, and everything's done. So, spotless record there. Now, the Better Business Bureau has been around for a long time. Actually started in the Twin Cities or in Minnesota. They found that contractors, if they went back, you know, you think that who's going to be the #1 complaint about industry? Is it going to be car salesmen? Is it going to be cell phones or whatever it's going to be? I think nowadays it's cell phones, but they did a study back up to 2006 and they found that contractors were actually #1 on the hit list in complaints on the Better Business Bureau. They found almost 11 million complaints, and they say that maybe 1 out of 10 person will call the Better Business Bureau, which is crazy. So you think over 100 million complaints out there against contractors, and only 1 out of 10 called. So that's a lot of complaints, and you know, people generally don't want to say they're happy, but being that 10.7 million, almost 11 million people call, that's a big deal. I mean, we want to make sure that we're never going to get complained upon. Everything's going to be done from the first moment we get there to the last nail is pounded and we leave. Now, 80% of those consumers that complain generally went with the lowest bid and had serious issues getting their jobs completed. Not only did they just didn't even complete the job. Now, any job we've ever started with Lindus, 100% done by the time we're out of there. Never not completed a job in almost 38 years of business. So now here's our spotless record with the BBB, A+ rating with that. And they say that almost all contractors fail within the first 2 years. So being around 38 years for us is a huge deal. You can go back and look at some phone books back to 2015 down to 2013. Some of those contractors that started aren't there anymore. You know, and with that, fully insured. So we have, you know, insurance is expensive. You know, especially for a company that has 120 employees. But from the moment we step on the job to the moment we leave, we are 100% covered. We have a $1 million umbrella policy over the top, or $5 million umbrella policy over the top of everyone, general liability and workers' comp. So it takes a lot to keep that rolling. Now, what year was the building here?
1983.
1983. So any building older than 1979, we do have to perform a lead test. Do you know any lead paint that was used on the building at any point?
I have no idea.
Okay. We might want to check it just to be safe. I'm assuming there isn't, but with that, we do have our own XRF gun. We'll shoot through multiple layers of paint to be able to make sure that all our workers are safe and you guys are safe if there's any paint chips or anything laying on the ground. You just don't want anybody picking them up and eating them and having any issues with that. So we test for that. Now, this is going to kind of show our process. Now, what this is it's going to show some about the windows. I don't have one specifically for patio doors, so just bear with me a little bit. I might stop it as I go through here. So first thing we're going to do is once you guys decide to use us for your window replacement or your patio door replacement, we're going to come out and we're going to measure all the doors. Right? We're going to make sure that everything is sent out to the factory, so they're going to build them right. Now you can see here they're building the window, but this, I'm going to go back here, sorry. Let's see if we can fast forward through this a little bit.
Can I make
Yep.
a suggestion? Can you put it on a chair and bring it closer?
I sure can.
Oh, you know what, we've got a TV tray right there.
Oh, is this okay? I can just do it right here.
Let's do this, it might be a little
Sorry.
higher.
I know it's a little small go through it this way. I can just hold it.
There we go.
Yeah, that'll work.
I just gotta, my hands are stuck in
I
there.
got this one.
This is weird.
There we go.
Aren't
All right.
you good here, so.
So anyway,
Thank you.
is that better? All right, good.
that
Now, you can see them here, you know, so to start over, basically, we're gonna send all the measurements off to the factory. They're gonna build all the patio doors right in the factory, right? Now, all the frames are gonna be shipped separate in a box, so we're gonna assemble all the frames on site. But all the sash are gonna be all made. So the sash of the patio door is basically the whole big unit of the whole big piece of glass, right? Sandwiched inside the frame. Now, important thing and why I wanted to stop this here is when ours are built, they build them on a vertical platform. Okay, a lot of what that means is when they set the glass in the frame that it's surrounded by, they don't set it down flat. So when they set it up, when they stand it up on a vertical plane, usually glass is heavy and it'll want to slide down inside that frame. We build ours on a vertical platform, so when it's moved or picked up and all the weight's on a different section or a different side, it doesn't move around, right? So that's what's going to ensure that the seal is always going to try to stay good in this window, or in this door. I'm going to keep going through here.
So what you're saying is, you're gonna come with a frame,
Mm-hmm.
and you're gonna come with glass,
Going to come with glass.
and you're gonna put it together,
We're going to put the frame all together here.
and where is here?
We're going to put it together either in a section on the ground, on a tarp, or wherever we can, and put the sections together. So I know that you got some 6-footers, some 5-footers. You know, to get them shipped and to do it economically, we always put the frames together wherever we go. Because if you try to have a frame that's already installed together, you have all the weight of the glass inside that frame, right? You try moving that frame around, and you put the glass inside of it, you got 2 guys trying to lift up this heavy patio door. Now what's going to happen to that frame? It's generally going to pop out a square, some of the screws might loosen, you know, different things could happen. They could drop a corner because it's heavy. When we put the frame together, it doesn't have the glass inside of it, right? So that frame is not trying to support all the extra weight of that glass, or that sill is not trying to support that extra weight of that glass. So when we put the frame in the hole, we plumb and we square it, and then we put the glass in. So the glass is actually sitting on framing. It is not going to compromise that frame at all, or pull that frame of that door apart. Any questions on that? Okay. All right, so moving on.
So I guess, you know, what you're saying is, you have to build it versus bringing it together, because if you move it back and forth, it's gonna loosen?
Yes.
Okay, so let's say we have a patio door,
Mm-hmm.
and it gets a lot of use.
Uh-huh.
So is this gonna loosen because, I guess I'm not sure.
No,
the
it's not
difference
going to
between-
loosen because it is screwed in a hole. It's screwed to the framing. It's sitting down on something solid, right? If you pick up a frame, let's say you picked up this frame, this door had a frame on the bottom of it, or it's a sill on the bottom of it, right? You picked it up, you jockeyed it around. That door, when you're moving around, has so much weight inside of it that when you move that whole frame, this whole frame, you couldn't pop the frame out of square, right? And then you try to put it in, you have to try to re-square it and do all kinds of different things with the glass inside of it. So it's not going to move around because it's already in the hole, it's screwed in, it's shimmed, it's foam, it's sitting on something solid. It's never going to move again once it's in that hole. It's not going to be compromised as far as...
How much space do you need to be doing all this?
They just need, you know, like on the path out there would be fine. Put a frame together. Out by the trailer would be fine to put a frame together.
Then what do you do on the 2nd and 3rd floors to
We-
get it up there?
Yes, we could either put it together on, I have to check, I don't think there's a lot of room on the patios to put it together. So we ended up putting it together down on the ground and then putting it in the elevator and then bringing it up with no glass in it. Because we don't want that glass to compromise the weight of the frame. So we move it up with no glass, then we move the sash up separately, and and then put the frame in, and then put the sash in and everything, make sure everything's level and plumb.
How long does it take to build a patio door?
All the frame, they probably put it together in 15 minutes. They do them every day. You know, it's something that is pretty simple. And most manufacturers, you can do them, you can buy them assembled or unassembled. And depending on, you know, and the contractor usually makes the decision depending on, you know, what the location of the door is, how high is it off the ground, those kind of things, whether they're going to keep the frame together or put it together on site. So, with being you guys are doing 34 units at a time, or something like that, you know, you're trying to do it in 3 phases, we'd be able to haul more over here, get more done in a day, rather than drive back, get more, drive back, get more, drive back, get more. So, the units that have 3 patio doors, we should be able to get those all 3 in a day in that area. 2 patio doors or 1 patio door is going to be easy to get those done in that day as well. I'll try to get through this now without stopping it. Okay. I'm sorry you can't see this, ma'am.
No, it's fine.
Okay. So again, it's going to go to the factory. They're going to make all those sash on a vertical platform. Like I said, we're going to pull a permit for this. So are we going to take care of the permit, or you guys take care of the permit?
It could be either way.
Okay, we generally take care of the permit. We always add that to the final invoice. Every municipality is a little different. We'll start by carefully removing, this is showing a window, but we'll carefully remove your old patio doors. We're going to inspect the frame, that bad boy, for any rotten wood, anything that we can. We're going to prep the opening, make sure everything's cleaned up, and replace any rotten wood at that point. We're going to lay down our pan flashing on the sill to ensure that no water is ever going to get to that framing again. Seal behind the nailing flange before we put it in. We can see them putting the window in. The patio is going to go the same way. Once we nail it all off all the way around, we're going to put our tape around to make sure that it never leaks. There's another application we can use on our windows. It's called a brick mold application. It's not available on the patio doors, but that's what this is kind of showing. So we'll go ahead and put that nailing, or that tape around the nailing flange. We're going to foam around the interior of the window, or the door, with a 1-to-1 Hilti window and door foam. Put all the new trim on the interior, fill all the wood, fill all the holes, clean it all up, and then you're going to have a nice, beautiful product when it's done. Even though I think Bill was saying you guys were, we'll get into colors and stuff here in a little bit, but he was saying that some people might want to go with white on, you guys are thinking of doing white on white, and some might go with colors.
That's probably going to be the standard.
Okay. I'm going to skip over a few here because they're talking about windows. So once the patio doors are in, you can see that we have the tape. Make sure everything's waterproofed all around. We're going to put a drip cap on, totally seal the outside of the unit. Now you'll have a little bit of a void on the outside of the unit once you take off, because the outside have existing brick mold right now, which is the wood trimmer on the outside of the door. The new ones will go in with a flange, so that brick mold will be removed. To fill up the void between the existing siding and the new patio door, we'd have to put a trim piece in on the outside to make it beautiful, cover up everything. So that can match the color of the door in white. And we could use a LP or a composite trim, so it never needs to be, don't have to worry about it rotting or having to paint it or any of that stuff. So make sure it's totally sealed on the outside. Now air infiltration, I heard that some people were having some issues with air infiltration. Now this is on the double hung window. They say that basically 1/16 inch gap around your window is equal to 1 brick missing from your house. Now your patio door is a lot bigger than your standard size double hung window. So I was imagining with some of the air leakage you guys are getting around here, you're probably missing, you know, if you took and made a hole in the wall probably this big, that's probably how much air is going in and out those patio doors. They say that air filtration, you know, if you think about it, this is just a graph that shows how many times your furnace would turn over. Now with the season guard patio door, or with the season guard window, your furnace is going to turn over less than one extra time a day for when you have you know, replace every unit in your house. But what it's basically saying is they're tight. They're not gonna leak air, they're not gonna leak water, and it's gonna really help, you know, you got that hot water heat, it's not gonna let that heat just go right out the patio door, so it's gonna reflect that back in. Part of the reason is some of the weather stripping that we use the drop block as a 4-point weather strip. With that, the double hung, it's just showing the double hung with a 0.03 air infiltration rating versus your Andersons, your Pillas, and your wood windows. So you're saying that the wood window right now is a 0.70 is what they're saying right now, and we get it down to all the way to 0.03. So air infiltration with the draft block is basically going to be none. It's got the real, with the white on the exterior, it's going to be a true white. My door is going to be made out of vinyl, right? Now some vinyl out there does have a blue hue to it. We don't use recycled vinyl, we use all virgin vinyl. So there is going to be 100% pure white. Now we asked the manufacturer when he made this, you know, we asked a bunch of painters, what's your favorite color white? Well, painter's white is the white. So it's going to be a pure white, it's not going to have a blue hue, it's not going to be a bright white, it's not going to be overwhelming, but it does have a nice clean look to it. Now, with the patio doors, this is something different that we do, and a lot of people don't do. Now, I always ask this, I guess, you know, you think, you know, what door would, you guys live in an association here, but if you had to think of it, what would be the warmest door in your house right now? The front door. Well, a lot of people think that, but you get into your house, you got a couple doors that you're not thinking of. One is your freezer door. It keeps all that cold air in, right? So that's what this is inside the frame of our patio door. You're going to have a liquid injected foam filled frame. All right, what's it going to make it the warmest edge patio door you can possibly buy? A lot of vinyl windows or vinyl doors will have all these air chambers, right? And they say air is a natural insulator, so that's what fiberglass does. It traps air in the wall to insulate your wall. With the foam, or with the airspace, a dead airspace, they say is a natural insulator. But once you put it in, you actually put screws through the jambs, and you negate that dead airspace, right? So the air can actually leak out, so it's not making the best insulator. So what we did is we liquid injected all this with foam. So it goes in there as a liquid, fills up the whole cavity, and then gives that edge almost an R7 cavity, or all the way around, 100% fill. You can see on the windows it's a 7.14 frame versus a aluminum window or a wood window right now, you're about an R1. So the frame of your patio door is less than an R1. That is going to be 7 to 8 times the insulating factor on that. 7 to 800%. So it's pretty neat thing that those chambers will be full, so that it's going to make it the best insulated door on the market, not including the glass, and I'll get into that a little bit here. The glass package. Now we pride our windows in having more visible glass. Get through some of that. So here's our glass package. Basically, it's going to be, I'm going to do a triple pane glass on here. All right. It's going to have 8 metallic layers on it for the low E coating. All right, we call it it's our SG90 glass, and I'll get to a slide here on that. But our glass was actually tested, and we call it this P1 chamber. Now, the P1 chamber is basically called a hot box. It is 1 year of environmental conditions condensed down to 1 week. So they take, what do they say here, 140 degrees of water spray, UV lights, and 1 week in the chamber is equal to 1 year in environmental conditions. With our glass, it was tested in the spacer system that we do use. I'll get into that here in a second. Tested and lasted for 78 years over a tin spacer, which was 3 years. And they do make some that do have a, believe it or not, some manufacturers do still use this. This would be the spacer that goes in between your glass. It's a foam spacer. Now, it's probably the warmest edge spacer because it's foam. It's not going to conduct any hot and cold, I'm sorry. But glass heats up, right? Cools down, heats up, cools down, heats up, cools down. It's glued to that foam. What's going to happen over time? That foam's going to let loose or collapse. And then over 3 years, or 7 years actually, that's the intercept super spacer. 7 weeks, so 7 years, you'll have glass and seal failure. So all the argon gas that's inside the insulating property of your door that will be argon filled would leak up. Okay, so ours is actually a stainless steel, one-piece spacer, right? So we have to splice it together somewhere. So it does splice together. It doesn't splice in the corner like a lot of them you see. We have these corner cuts out. What happens is that corner will release a little bit and some of that air can leak out if that butyl is not inside that corner. Ours is one continuous piece all the way around. It does not have splices in the corners. So looking at that, you can see I was showing you a couple. We got aluminum. It's a single seal. So what that means is when they put the glass against it, they put one layer of butyl between the glass and the spacer. All right. Now that's the only thing that's required in residential. One single sealed window, right? In commercial, they require a dual seal. What that means is they're going to put the butyl and a silicone. Now all our windows and doors are going to have a dual seal window. And that's what makes it last so long. That's why I give you a 50-year non-prorated warranty on these doors. Commercial warranty. All right, which is pretty cool. That's against any seal failure, so if the gas leaks out of the glass and you see condensation in between the glass, that's 100% covered. New glass. The rollers, any frame, any moving parts that are part of that door, the lock systems, would be all covered for 50 years non-prorated. And we do a one step ahead. We do a lifetime workmanship warranty on everything we do. Take a lot of pride in our work. So if anything fails from our workmanship, we'll be back here fixing it for free for the lifetime you guys are here. So it's a stainless steel one-piece spacer, and if you actually listen to it, you hear that? There's some encapsulated desiccant inside that. What that does is you kind of remember, you ladies, you buy shoes, right? What happens what do you find in your shoes when you buy shoes? Find those little packets in there, right? It says do not eat. Right? It says do not eat, or you find them in beef jerky, right? It keeps the moisture down. Well, same thing with our window. We have that in our window. Now it's going to help take and remove any of the moisture that is in there from the manufacturing process, and if anything does get in there, it's going to help pull that out of there so you'll never see moisture in between your glass. And you can see here what I was talking about with the primary and secondary seal. Now, generally, everybody only does the primary seal, which is sealed against this edge of the spacer system. So when the glass smashes against this, it's sealed here. Well, with ours, we have that silicone, that secondary seal in there. So that's going to virtually make it so that glass is never going to leak. And if it does, call us up and say, hey, bad sash in this room here. All right, we'll order a new one. Come put it in. Be 100% covered. Now, like I was saying, we got an 8-layer. This is my glass package right here. You can see this single seal, the dual seal, the yellow and the blue. Encapsulated desiccant is the purple. Now it's 8 layers of metallic coatings, and basically what that's saying is the low E. And you guys are familiar with low E. I'm sure everybody's been talking about low E a little bit here. What, low E. We'll have a dual low E on our triple pane. So when the sun is high in the summertime and the rays are coming down, it reflects it away from the house and it keeps the heat back, reflects the heat back into the home. That's what the purpose of low E is. You want to make sure that not only to reflect the heat back into the home or the cool back into the home, but it keeps those harmful rays out from the outside and doesn't make your furniture fade or your carpet fade or anything I've been in houses where the low E is so bad that they had blue carpet turns to green carpet. And the couch was dark brown, now it's light brown on the back corner because they just didn't have the low E coatings. And that sun is harsh. So I got a few before and afters just of some windows that we did. We redid all those in that section. And the interior, but patio doors, I can get some pictures of those as well. I just didn't have it. I was actually, before I came here, I was prepared to do a different window until I saw the height of the doors, and then I called manufacturing, they won't make it. Just of the height. The height that you guys have a really short door. It's less than 6 feet, and there's a lot of things with the doors that I had to figure out before I gonna start pricing them, and one was the 3-point lock. With our patio doors, we do have a 3-point lock. I don't know if anybody is talking about 3-point locks, but generally every door has one single lock, right? The one you guys have now has one lock, probably on the foot because everything else is gone, or it has the one on the handle. Well, ours has one on the handle, but when the door is shut, actually locks here, in the middle, and on the lower. Okay? So there's 3 points in there that are making contact with the frame to make sure that it's going to be 100% sealed all the time. These up to you guys. So this is a little bit about us as a company. And there is some stuff, information on the patio doors in there. You can go over those real quick. Now, if you guys want to flip to page, what page is it? Page 17 is the patio doors. I just wanted you to take a look at the look of them. Because I can't bring a big giant patio door in here and show you. I could, but it would take a lot of manpower to do that. That is the look of the patio door. Now you could do if you guys are going to go with white on the exterior, which is great, because we do have multiple colors on the interior. If somebody does want that option, we would be able to offer maple, walnut, provincial oak, golden oak, Brazilian pecan, and I think there was one more. Golden oak, what did I say? Yep. Norwegian maple, English walnut, provincial oak, colonial cherry, Brazilian pecan, and golden oak on the interior. So there is 6 different colors plus white to do on the interior. Now hardware, we can do white hardware, we can do brushed nickel, we can do some oil rub bronze. Now that does affect the price. Now on the left hand side over here kind of goes through the highlights. You got the ultra core like I was talking about, the foam filled frame. You have the 3-point locking system like I was just talking about. They do have an option for a night ventilation latch. So we could put that in as an option. Let's say you want to keep your door open at night. When you're on the first floor and you don't want anybody to come in. So what we can do is drill multiple holes in your frame on the bottom. So you can open up your door 6 inches and lock it. You can open it up, probably wouldn't want to open up a foot, but you can lock it. So that would keep anybody honest from trying to get in, because it's locked. You can still keep it open, but nobody's going to be able to squeeze through that 6 inches or a foot you want to keep it open. And it's adjustable to wherever you want to put it. 1.5 inch big beefy brass rollers in there. So those will never fail. If they do, 100% covered. The screen, we can talk about the screen a little bit. The screen from our patio door actually hangs from the top. Now I know you guys are probably dealing with your screens right now, right? Probably don't work very well. Probably get hung up on all the dirt and grime on the bottom in that track. Probably pop off the track half the time. You have issues with that. Ours actually have a roller that hangs from the top. So there's no chance of all that dirt and grime, or whatever that's going to get into that, sit on that frame on the bottom sill, is never going to get in that screen track, cause it to pop off the screen track, and cause issues when you're opening it. So it's always going to slide smoothly. If you look at the door itself, you can kind of see that it's got a French wood look to it. You see how it's got a little bigger profile around the bottom than your standard narrow door. So it probably looks something along the width of the door you have here. Versus, I think right now you have maybe a 2-inch or 2.5 inch wood style on the bottom, or this is going to be more like a 3 or 4 inch wood style on the bottom. So not a lot of difference there, but I just thought you'd be aware of that.
I noticed that this opens from the right.
It can open from the right or the left.
Okay.
And all these sliding. The clash free, that probably talks about that in there, the clash free interlock. Now what the interlock is where the 2 panels meet. So you have to have a weather strip where the 2 panels meet, whether you close one. A lot of patio doors you have a problem with it hanging up. The 2 interlocks, they actually work kind of like this when they lock together. Sometimes you'll get them, they'll clash and they will hinder the door from closing on certain doors. So with ours, we guarantee that doesn't happen. I think that's all about it. I mean, I can get into some glass stuff here if you really want me to. But I think I hit most of the highlights. You know, been in business for almost 40 years, family-based company out of western Wisconsin. I didn't get into this at all. I don't know if this is mine, what that is. But no subcontractors, which is huge. We use all our own employees for installing these windows and doors. All right, I have 6 crews that would be able to do this. All our crews are trained by us. So we know who they are. It's really important that you know who your installers are out there. You're going to be going in inside of your guys' personal homes. I want to make sure that everything's fine. I want to know that where everybody's from and what they do and what kind of records they have and what kind of people they are. So that's why we do employ our own employees to put in windows and doors. As long as our siding and our gutters and a lot of the products that we do a lot of Lindus Construction employees. We hardly sub anything. We do sub some roofs, but mainly everybody works for us. We try to keep most of it in-house. Like I said, 50-year non-prorated commercial warranty on the door. So that covers all moving parts and seal failure, which is a pretty tough warranty to beat. You have the options for the real wood look on the inside, or we can do white exterior, white interiors. We will still stain your trim to match your existing trim. So whatever trim you have in there, I'm assuming will probably be all the same, around the same color bills. It's gonna be different. That'll be a tough little match. Okay, so maybe we'll have to maybe come up with something that's maybe 3 colors or something. That would be an option. So we're not trying to match the fruit wood over here, the walnut over here, the fruit wood walnut mixed over it, right? And it sets up and it makes that door solid as a rock. And it's never gonna permeate air through that foam. That foam is a air seal vapor barrier deal. It's not gonna, like fiberglass, people that pack fiberglass in and around a door, and I don't know, a lot of people do it anymore. But if they pack it too tight, that air is just gonna go right through it. Because that fiberglass is meant to trap the air. If they pack too much in there, it's not even going to insulate it. So they have to, do it, pretty loose, fill with fiberglass. We've always used Hilti window and door foam as long as I can remember.
So your rollers on the top or the bottom of the doors?
The rollers are going to be on the bottom of the doors.
The bottom of the doors.
On the screen doors, they're going to be on the top.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
How about a DP rating on the door?
I'd have to get you that.
Okay.
I could definitely get you that. I know it on some of the windows, but I'd have to get that. DP rating, any other ratings you want to know?
Well, the R,
Condensation ratings or any of that stuff?
is it an R factor and a U factor?
The U factor on the would be about a 0.28, 0.26 to a 0.28, so it'd be pretty low. That's the overall insulating factor of the unit. They don't measure windows really in R factors. Usually it's a U factor.
How many panes were your windows?
3. Be a 7/8 class by the time it gets done.
Did you say what they were filled with?
Argon. We could go up to Krypton, but you're looking at about 40% more on price. You think of, a lot of people don't do Krypton because it's just priced out of the market. You think of Krypton as, or Argon, I think of Argon as an insulator, as like a pool filled with jello, right? Versus, well, I guess that would be the Krypton. Krypton would be a pool filled with jello, where Argon would be a pool filled with water. It's going to give some resistance, but it's not going to be that thick through there, so.
The low E that you said you
Mm-hmm.
sprayed on, how many coats did you
It'd
say?
be 2 coat, double coat low E.
Okay, 2 coats. I don't know what did you say, 8 coats or something?
Well, there's metallic coatings
Okay.
on there,
I heard
so,
about 8 coats.
yeah.
Okay, down to 2.
So it's 16 layers of protection. Each low E coating is 8 layers,
Okay.
okay? And those are on the inside up between the glass, so it'd be on the outside, inside of the outside and inside of the, in the middle. And then the middle is actually a soundproofing glass as well. So sound transmission is going to drop quite a bit around here. So if you got kids out playing in the courtyard, somebody's out screaming, your chances are you're not going to hear them through your patio as easy as you will now.
Question.
Sure.
On your picture, do you count this as one sliding glass door or two?
That is one sliding glass door. One panel is going to be stationary and one's going to move.
Okay, so most places in this building have one
Correct.
sliding glass door.
Yeah, that is one sliding glass door with two panels.
Right.
Yep, same thing it's gonna be now. So most of them have, they're either 5 foot wide, there's 2 panes, and they're one stationary, one slides. So it'll be the same way. So depending on the unit and which side it is, we'll just have to determine that on measure, whether it's a right or left opening.
Because like I have 3 in my house.
Yep.
And my living room and dining room.
Opposite?
Yes.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's no problem. Just gotta make sure we get it right at ordering. That's what we got Greg for.
Okay.
Okay.
John, you haven't asked any questions.
Don't need to.
Let all the women doing it for them.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, you guys come prepared, like it.
So on your handles here,
Uh-huh.
does it have 1 latch or 2 latch there, you know? Because I see you've got like a
It's
lever
just
here.
one lever. Now what that does is it controls the locking system that'll be here, here, and
Oh,
here.
really?
Yeah.
So there'll be little,
There's 3-point lock inside there. I wish I could bring in a sash and show you. I just went and measured it today. So one will be off the floor about that high, one will be about where the handle is, and like I said, the other one's about 70 inches or just over, almost under 6 feet. So at the top. Which, 3-point locking system is a great security feature. Great for sealing the door. Not only is there just one lock, a lot of patio doors, the only way they ever seal is when you lock them, right? It's weird. It's the way they work. I have an Anderson in my house that is already in there when I moved in, but if I shut it, it isn't closed until I lock it. And if I didn't have that lock, then you just hear the wind whistle through it all day long. So having 3-point lock really makes a huge difference because it's definitely going to lock it up here. It's going to pull everything tight and keep everything square and everything perfect. So all the weather stripping is going to work.
Okay, I got one.
Okay, yeah.
With all your experience with
Sure.
windows, I listen to Andy once in a while
Okay.
on Saturday morning.
Yeah, give them a call sometime.
What is your experience installing gutter helmet?
Gutter
He
helmet.
sells the hell out of that stuff.
The gutter, well, we do the leaf guard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the leaf guard. So gutter helmet's kind of like a swear word to me, but that's okay. That's it's the gutter. We are the only one-piece gutter on the market.
You're right.
Right. So gutter helmet would be a top that goes over existing gutters that nails, moves, or screws to your roof. So we've had the leaf guard for about 18 years now. It's an awesome product. We have all our own installers. I have 12 crews putting it up right now. It catches how much water is just as much water as an open gutter would, but you don't ever have to clean it out. Whatever clogs at any point, we come clean it for free.
Now I'm going to give you a tough one.
Okay.
I'm one of those issues.
Okay.
I wondered whether to bring this up tonight or not.
Sure.
Andy said that patio doors they're just not necessarily made, or at least most of them, to work all that well for that long a time. What he was doing is he was selling French doors,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
So obviously your company has come up with a patio door
Mhm.
that is designed
Mhm.
to last, I'll say 30 years.
Mhm.
And the season guard is
Is that
the
door?
one you recommend.
Well, I'll tell you this. When I first got started in sales, and it was 9 years ago or 10 years ago, we brought in 14 different window manufacturers to our office. Everybody wants us to install their windows, right? So we brought in all the big ones, every one we could find. Some vinyl ones, some wood vinyls, some fiberglass, all kinds of different ones. We put in Great Lakes windows, we've put in all-side windows, we've put in Anderson's, Marvin's, Pellas, we've done them all. Now, we've seen the problems that you do have. We've been in almost 40 years, right? Almost 40 years in business. We put all kinds of different ones in, and we know what the problem with this one is. We know what the problem with this one is. We know what the problem with this one.
On average, how long does it take for those problems to show up?
You know, it just depends on how much they get used.
Right,
You
you're
know,
exactly right.
it's just, it is what it is. I mean, if one gets shut and another gets open, it'll sit there and last forever.
Yeah,
You know, one gets used 7 times a day or whatever it's gonna be, of course, it's gonna wear out quicker. Now, when we were shopping around, we found the manufacturer that would work with us and try to build the door or the window that we wanted. And that's where we found Season-Guard. They worked with us, with the mainframes, the foam-filled mainframes, the night latches, the styles, the looks, the brick mold option that we bring to windows. We don't have it on the patio doors yet, but we bring it to windows. Nobody else can really offer that. One of the first innovators of that. And that company and us mesh so well together that we build a great product together. And we can warranty it for a lifetime. On residential, I give you 100% coverage. Glass breakage, 100% screen failure, any rips in the screen, seal failure, workmanship guarantee. I mean, all of it. I just can't do it in commercial and things like this.
would it be transferable, that warranty?
That would be a residential, correct. I gotta check on the commercial warranty.
Okay,
Yeah, so, I know it's 50 years non-prorated, but let me check on the transferability of that for you.
But if the association is buying the doors.
Right, I'm assuming
It would
that
have to be if the association transferred over.
if a different management company took over or something along those lines, and I've never had to deal with that, so.
Well, they'd be bought by the condo association, the checks would come from the condo association, but they would be written by the management company. So it would be the condo association buying them. not
Whoever writes the
the-
check is the one that's buying, and that would be their warranty.
So what you're saying is, we put the doors in,
Uh-huh,
okay? A year later, we decide we don't want the estimate anymore, our warranty's gone.
excuse me?
You're saying if we put the doors in, and a year later, this association says, no, we don't want that management company anymore, we're buying a new, or finding.
I'm pretty sure it is transferable, but let me check, just, I don't wanna say anything, I don't wanna give you the wrong answer.
The check says Creek Place Condo Association, it doesn't say Gasson.
Oh, it does, okay.
Okay, so that would go towards the association and the building. I don't see us ever telling you we're not gonna come replace a door, or come fix a door. You have a lifetime workmanship warranty with us, we're gonna come back, and if it's something to do with our work, we're definitely gonna fix it. 100% covered, doesn't cost you a thing. Now, the glass and everything, now the warranty's gonna be here, so I can't imagine, I've had a homeowner call me in 30 years and say they wanted, their windows aren't working. We went out there, replaced some glass, replaced some sash, went and made the windows work, never charged them a dime. We just like to take care of our customers because you guys take care of us. If we didn't have you guys, we wouldn't have anything, right? If we didn't have a great word and we did a bad job, and you guys go tell, we've got 100 some windows, I don't know how many units you have, 60 units?
102, 72 or 73?
102.
102 doors.
Yep,
72
72 units, so roughly 120 to 140, 170 people in here, or I don't know how many people in those units, but we want to do a great job. That's 400 eyes on us the whole time, and we want you guys to talk good about us, and you want us to refer you to friends and family, and that's what we're gonna do. And you'll notice that when our guys get here. And another thing that could hinder the job is, how many retired people do you have, and how well they like to talk, because my guys will talk with them, and do that, and whatever, that's something that does happen, and you get into conversation, and things do take a little bit longer, somebody's asking more questions than the other, but, so, our guys are easy to talk to, easy to ask questions. Like I said, they're all our employees, and you'll get to know them and you'll get to love them like we do. Good.
And thank you, Marcia.
Good. Good. All right. I'll leave some extra brochures here if you guys need them or you want to give them up to anybody. I'll leave the whole stack here for you.
Yeah, there are a few that aren't here that I know would like.
Check them out.
Thank
If you have any questions, I got a bunch of business cards here. I'll leave on the table as well. If you guys need anything from me, I'll throw it over on the stack.
Then you're gonna send.
John,
me
let
a
me
message
get rid of
And
build a building and want your van down there, and then make sure you have the right windows and doors,
I'll
lock
send
the
it right
van
over
in.
the door. Yep.
Well, I hope so.
I'll do your chair, sweetie.
By the way, if you want the storage space,
Good luck with your shopping.
Yeah.
Nice to meet y'all.
Well, thank you. I gotta get that boat coming.
That was one of the things that,
well, that's up to you, I just thought maybe if
Yeah.
Well, the doors,
We'll see how it goes.
but also by doing the white and the standard type of door.
you ever watch that remodeling show on Saturday morning?
No, I'm just,
There's not that much turnover in patio door designs, is there?
No.
but you know, sure.
Yeah.
No. No, we've had the same patio door since we've had it. Little improvements here and there. You know, we're always through stuff. As in,
Not that I ever usually saw the check.
Jill, you know it's okay if you're fun sized.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
There's a third floor, they could be the same.
Oh, definitely.
Good to see you.
If they're gonna be anything, they're gonna be improved.
See you there.
All right.
You know, that's, you look at it, you don't make anything worse.
Can I ask one
Okay,
question?
yeah.
Well, Bill, I hope I answered a lot of your questions.
I
I hope
hope
you're all right for you guys.
Patio doors
Did
in
just
white.
find out, I wish I would have known you
What
had.
happens when we,
Yeah, that's
Because I
okay.
have a big.
I thought about bringing one, that's why I texted her, I sent you an email. How many people? I'm like,
See, I won't.
you know, I've done it
I'll
for
pay the
hundreds of
charge. I don't
people
want
before.
one.
And I've had
I don't
it.
get
no,
it.
on the outside,
I have
no,
a
I'm
TV
talking
we
only
have
about the
addressed to
outside.
it.
I'm not talking white on the
And we
inside of
couldn't
mine
put it up to
either.
that,
Yeah, it'll be all right.
whatever, it was
No, we
just
just, on
fine.
the outside,
Yeah,
we have
that's
all of the patio doors,
And windows that way. Yeah.
on the outside?
The windows, I had to look too.